Speaker, it's very positive speaking on this bill because I'm sure there won't be a party in this Parliament that disagrees fundamentally with it. I think we have a broad consensus in this Parliament for a seamless operating environment for businesses between Australia and New Zealand. We have a consensus for a closer relationship between our two countries if you like, but one market is perhaps what we're working towards, and I think, as I say, that makes this very positive. I want to talk in a generalised sense about the nuts and bolts of this bill and then talk about what it represents, because I think what it does represent is quite significant. It does represent a closening of relations. It does represent excellent relations between our Prime Ministers, between our Justice Ministers, officials going right on down. And it also represents, I agree with the Honourable Leanne Dalziel and also Minister Power when they say it shows how we can have on both sides of the Tasman real confidence in our judiciary. The Trans-Tasman Proceedings Bill implements a treaty between New Zealand and Australia, and it really has one aim, and that is to make it easier to resolve civil legal disputes with connections on both sides of the Tasman. The bill, which is highly complex and technical, will apply to a broad range of civil disputes benefiting both businesses and individuals. And you can understand it would be complex because over a long period of time, many countries, including our own, have built up procedures that become quite different from other countries, and to unravel that and systematise things and rationalise things so that there's a seamless relationship between countries takes some doing. It will also allow for appearances by video link from one country to the other. And we've already today gone through a reading on another bill which provides for greater video link in our courts domestically. I think it's excellent that we're doing this also trans-Tasman so that businesses are spared the costs of, on interlocutory matters, on adjournments and the like, having to fly the Tasman with all the consequences that go with that, not just financial, but of course in terms of carbon miles and the like. And the bill also allows the enforcement of regulatory regimes supporting trans-Tasman markets. Now, as I've already said, I think it's worth noting that this bill is really where it is today because of a number of players, most between Prime Ministers, a warm working relationship and greater integration occurring at a regular and a reasonably swift pace. Then down at the Justice Minister level, where Minister Power, I know, has been working hard and often with his colleagues on the other side of the Tasman and in various states, and then at official level and downwards. A working group was established that really has drilled down, if you like, and made this bill possible in terms of getting into the detail. And that group comprised senior officials from the relevant government agencies in both Australia and New Zealand. And its recommendations, I won't go through them one by one, line by line, but they are of interest. One of their recommendations was that the proposed regime would allow initiating process and civil proceedings issued out of a court in Australia or New Zealand to be served in the other country with the same effect as if service had occurred in the country of issue. That's very significant, it seems to me, because I think any litigation lawyer will tell you actually just domestically trying to serve another party or group to a proceeding causes enough hassle as it is in terms of trying to find them and the rigmarole you have to go through when you can't find them with substituted service and the like, so that we have rationalised that, made that seamless on both sides of the Trans-Tasman, of the Tasman, is, I think, very good, and just again goes towards cutting down business costs, compliance costs, and pushing for one market so that a business in Palmerston, Australia can do business with Palmerston North, New Zealand, as if we were one. And as I say, look, having talked about some of those nuts and bolts, some of the things that this bill does, Mr. Speaker, can I just again reflect on the significance of this bill in a broader lens? I think what it does do is it reflects the general commitment on both sides of the Tasman to enhance the operation of the single economic market. It reflects the warmth of relations. It reflects also the absolute confidence we can have in first-class judiciaries on both sides of the Tasman. Long may that continue. Mr. Speaker.
I call the Honourable David Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also rise to support the